every day, so she always is a few minutes late, but we do have a quorum to start with. I'd like to welcome everybody and ask you that you please turn your cell phones to off tonight. We do have a long meeting, so we will go ahead and commence. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the May 4th minutes. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. Second order of business is old business. We have A through F. All of these are from last month's May meeting where we did not have a quorum. Everything was approved, but it has to be ratified tonight. So do I hear a motion for ratification as a whole?
Madam Chair, I move to ratify items A through F in toto.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. It's been moved by Horton, seconded by Wilson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, all of the agenda from May meeting is now approved by the commission and been ratified. All right, we'll start with new business. The first order of business is 06-0101, Bank of Montgomery, 814 Washington Street, the demolition/parking lot creation. And I believe Pat Johnson is here to represent the bank. If you'll go to the podium, state your name and who you're speaking for, please.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Pat Johnson. I'm a local contractor. We've been asked to perform some work for the Bank of Montgomery, which involves demolition of an older building that's in our need for a lot of maintenance work or updates. If they don't approve it tonight, in order for them to use it, they're going to spend a lot of money on updating. But anyhow, the intention is to remove this building and to add new parking and landscape that's pretty simple. It's going to take up one piece of concrete and put new concrete down and allow for a certain amount of landscape area with it. The reason for demolishing the building has flooded a few times, and if you look at some of the pictures, you can see that the drainage places, that catch basins are only about 3 or 4 inches lower than the building itself, and when they get filled up, they have backed up into this building before. Also, this building has black fungus, black mold, and they just feel like it's another reason why they need to remove it rather than remodel it. It's got so many things that are wrong with it. This building is also hooked up to a sewer system that's self-contained. It's not actually hooked into a city sewer. It's one of the few buildings probably left in Natchitoches that's like that. All this will be removed in the process of the demolition. But anyhow, other than the building is just in a bad shape, floods, black mold, it's time to do something different with this building. And they feel like just to remove it and to put a new parking lot there or additional parking.
There's no historic significance to this structure either.
This structure actually was incorporated into the district in 2008 when they redid all the old Natchitoches lumber yard. Mm-hmm. And as I remember, this particular building was a shed, part of a shed that housed lumber. And if I'm not mistaken, the back of it's partially still metal from the original structure.
It was a tin, I think it was a tin building.
Yeah, it's a tin building. The back of it's still tin, but the front has that stucco on it.
Right.
And so it is not a contributing factor into the historic district whatsoever.
And we've also had the asbestos checked on it, and it was negative on the asbestos.
It was,
There is a
negative
report
on that.
attached with it that identifies there's no asbestos in this building, and it's ready for demolition.
So,
Okay.
so Mr. Johnson, you're saying there's no need to have an abatement of asbestos? I'm just not hearing you real well.
No abatement needed.
Okay, okay.
It's asbestos free.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the application as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Horton, seconded by Wilson. All those in favor of the demolition of the Baker Montgomery's back building, say aye. Aye. Opposed? There being none, it is approved under the circumstances that it is a non-contributing factor in the historic district. It has the black mold in it, which is an issue, major issue. It still floods, it still leaks. And so you are granted then the right to go ahead and demolish. Because normally we don't like to see any demolition of any building in the historic district. But this one has an exception to the rule because of when it was built and because of the issues that it is having.
Thank you very much. And do we need to come back for when we put the new concrete down?
Yes, we need to have the layout. Since you're going to be adding the landscaping and all of that, we would like to see a diagram of all of that because we do require landscaping when we do any kind of concreting within the district.
And particularly, Pat, if there's any lighting that's going to be added.
There's going to be one light.
We need to know where
That
that
is,
is.
Lighting.
where it's going to be noted, what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what
Do
you would
that.
submit. on the
Every
next one.
layout that there is.
You would come back the next time under old business, and it would be immediately
Yeah.
dealt with.
Okay, and
You
they
just
come
go
back
down
to
to the
Chantrell on the request and,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
just like they did before.
okay.
Okay?
But you're good to go on this part.
So
Yeah.
that, need to get with you for July meeting?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, the next order of business is 060102. Jennifer Threadgill, 110 University Parkway, paint and renovations. Jennifer, would you like to go to the podium, please? State your name. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Threadgill, and I own the building at 110 University Parkway. I guess the picture's not up there. The old Seals Cook Clinic. And I just want to paint, when I bought it, 26 years ago, so it hasn't been painted since, so it needs to be painted. I'd like to whitewash the brick. Well, there you go. And then on the trim, it's a navy blue and some white, all the white where the wood would be, and trim in the navy.
Do you have a color swatch? of
I do, and there's one,
Would you please bring it up here? Because we won't approve any paint anymore until we actually see the chip. Which one? The one in the middle, just kind of that deeper, richer. That's almost black. Let me fold that over. Okay. Okay, Commissioners, pass that around so you can see. That one right there. Commissioners, in your folder, you have a picture that Ms. Threadgill has put in there of what the whitewash, it would be similar to the house that was just whitewashed on Jefferson Street, if you remember the corner Amulet in Jefferson that we
That
allowed
apex.
to whitewash. This particular structure dates back to 1945, so it is a contributing factor. It's just a typical red brick structure, and this really kind of brings it up into but still you're not hurting the integrity of the building as far as any kind of architectural detail or anything.
Right.
Is still identical to what it was before.
right, everything's the same, just paint.
Okay, Commissioners, do you have any questions for
I'm
Jennifer?
going to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion by Mrs. Robinson, seconded by Owens. All those in favor, say aye. Oh, excuse me. Chantrell?
I just want to make sure, speak clearly in the mic so that when
Oh,
we do
okay.
our minutes, they can pick it up.
Okay. Can you hear me now better?
Yes.
Okay. The motion was to whitewash, I believe it was 110,
Right.
110 College Ave, University Parkway.
Right.
Whitewash it like the house there on Jefferson, and then the trim is called Hale Navy.
No, it's that, is it?
Oh, excuse me,
The one in the
the
middle.
other
Middle.
Yeah,
New
Newport
beer-
Blue.
Okay, new.
Newport
something.
Blue. It's a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There being none. So Jennifer, you can go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I folded it there. Yeah, there you go, Newport.
Chairman.
One at Newport? Newberry, Newport? Yeah, Newburyport, no, you can have, she's got, just so you have one.
Newberry Port.
What was the motion again? I didn't hear.
Oh, the motion was to approve the application to whitewash the building at 110 with Newport berry trim.
Okay, who approved?
Motion was Melissa Robinson and Drake, seconded. I'm sorry, I'll talk louder.
Thank you.
Yes, you may go.
Bye.
Okay, the next business in order is 060103 Natchitoches Historic Foundation, 552nd Street, paint renovations and fence. Yes, please state your name and who you're representing, even though
All
you
right.
said that.
I am Susan Barron, and I'm representing the Natchitoches Historic Foundation tonight. We are located at 552nd Street, next to the Baptist Church. We would like to add 92 feet of wrought iron fencing that is 5 feet high, adding a double gate and a single gate. It will be painted black. The fence will be installed on the south side of the property from the back corner of our house to the back corner. This is to protect our garden and our fountain, which has had a little damage done over the years. And so that was one request that we have. Our other request is that we want to repaint our historic foundation house with the same colors that are already on the house. The house walls are painted Sherwin-Williams Craftsman Brown. The doors are dark green with the Sherwin-Williams Roycroft bottle green, and the trim is Sherwin-Williams muslin. And I have those samples. It is the same colors that are on the house at this present time.
Susan, is the wrought iron fence going to come out, or is it going in permanently?
It will go in permanently.
You
We will have double gate to allow for the access of mowers to come in and guests.
In your packet, there are pictures. This is not the actual, this is the actual type fence that will go in there, but this is at somebody else's house. It does not have any fleur-de-lis design or anything like that. And it was my understanding they didn't want to do that for liability, so if someone did try to climb over it, there wouldn't be anything that would happen to cause any liability on their part. It is a wrought iron fence, as I understand it.
Yes.
That is not a wrought iron, it is a factory-produced,
It is a tubular square fence post that they use.
right, which is being used within the district, but it will be put in concrete, and there is a little pathway up towards the Baptist Church parking lot, so that's
Right.
where one gate goes, and then the double gate is where a driveway
Used to be a driveway there.
But that allows when they have a party or something back there to be able
Yes.
to get in, and the mowers as
And
well.
it would
Is that
go
my
from
understanding?
that back corner where the driveway is, that double driveway, to the west side, to the corner where our oleanders are.
Okay. Do I hear a motion, and we can divide this into two, or you can say it as one, as far as the fence and the
Madam Chair, I
painting go?
move that we accept it as presented by Ms. Barron and the written information also.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Wilson, seconded by Horton, that we approve the application as presented, which means that you may do the fencing and the painting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
We thank you very much.
you're good to go. Thank you for coming. Got all of this. Okay. Okay, at this time, we are going on to 060104 Steve Horton, 434 Second Street, new construction. And Steve has recused himself because he cannot vote.
Good evening, members. If you'll look in the packet that I presented on our property at 434 Second Street, we're proposing to add a patio, pergola/patio that's going to extend off of the garage that is to the left of our house, and it sits very far back, so it's not going to be very visible from the street. If you flip to the very last page of the packet, you'll see on the bottom exactly what it's going to look like when it's completed. There's no interruption or any kind of change to the garage structure as it is itself. Basically, we're adding a 10-foot pergola off of the right side of the building, and then a brick patio and the sandstone stones going from the garage over to the house. So you can look on the bottom and see what it would look like if you were facing the garage on the right side, and then you see a look of what it would look like on the back of the garage, and you can see the actual full house at the top of that page. Again, it's not, I know that it does not have anything to do with the commission, but I did want to add the page before it. You'll see the landscape plan that we're including. So we're keeping the original crepe myrtle tree. We're not taking anything out, in other words, but we're adding basically a mirage of native plants that are going to soften that pergola area, but keeping in the integrity of the garage that was built approximately 1940. So the paving is going to be Tanglewood by Old Texas Brick. So it's a real brick, real mortar, and just a very plain veneer. We're using cypress wood for the construction of the pergola. The pergola will be 10 feet off the ground. It will sit on the roof. It will not connect to the roof. So again, there's no change of anything that's going to affect the garage itself. On the right side, we're going to include a low, it's 3.5 feet high, ornamental wrought iron fencing, and mainly it's just for decoration look. It's not going to fence in the patio. It's just going to sit between the water feature that would be in the middle and the garage, and then the same number of feet on the other end so that it would match. We're using flagstone tiles in what's called Navajo large flag, and those will move the patio from the patio to the back door of the house that sits on the right. It's a relatively simple application, and it's not really adding a whole lot to the backyard area, but it fills in a hole in the backyard where we don't have any kind of patio space, and this will allow us to do it without being so overbearing. And that's pretty much our application. But on the second page of the application, there's a verbal narrative that explains everything that we're going to be doing.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Dr. Horton?
I move to approve.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by Robinson, seconded by Wilson, to allow the application for the addition of a 10-foot pergola. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Being none, you may start. Okay, next on the agenda is 06-01-05, Reverend Kristen Paul, 533 2nd Street, minor repair, new construction, painting, renovations, signage. Yes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I realize there were a lot of things in this application. Is there somewhere in particular you'd like me to begin?
Okay, when I saw your application, I always go down to the commission office several days before we have a meeting, and I look over all the applications. And I do have a couple of questions I think that can speed this up.
I love it.
Okay, one of them is on the window restoration that you would like to do at the church.
Yes.
What time frame are we looking at for that? Is that something this year, next year?
So we can't begin this year on account of we have applied for a grant. The restoration with the current bid that we have is for about $260,000. And the National Heritage Trust, the Partnership for Sacred
Right.
Places, is the grant we applied for. That grant doesn't get awarded until October.
Okay, well, whenever we issue when you apply for something and we issue that you may go ahead and start, you have 6 months.
Okay.
Within to do this. So that does not apply right now.
So we should come back in
You
November.
should come back once you know you've got the grant, that sort of
Perfect.
thing. So that'll eliminate
That takes
the
one thing right
windows.
out of the gate.
Okay, the second thing, one of the questions you had was on the historic marker.
Correct.
Like the Catholic Church has. That is not something that we do. This is done through Cane River National Heritage. That's Rebecca Blankenbecker.
Okay.
And I've already talked with her, and she said, just come by there.
Okay.
They are the ones, we, as a commission, have already approved the style of the markers.
Okay.
And then it's up to her and you what's put on the marker, and if they deem that it is of historical significance to go in the district.
And then we don't come back here
You
for
don't
that.
have to come back for that.
I'm loving the efficiency.
Rebecca Blankenbecker.
You're making my night, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, those are all over the district, so
Yeah.
they put them up as part of a funding grant they got.
I love it.
So it may be that it's just something that you add, they add the Trinity to the list of the ones that are already out there.
Fantastic.
You know, and they do walking tours of Natchitoches too, and they
Correct.
stop at all these individual markers.
I'm
so
kind of
it'd be a
surprised they
very
didn't
good
do that
thing.
when they did.
Yeah, I think so.
So-
I would love to have it.
Yeah,
So, great,
I
we'll
don't
do
think that'll
that.
probably be an issue according to Rebecca, but that's who you
Fabulous.
take it up with.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing that I think would be the easiest to work with is the elevator.
Let's do it.
So would you like to please tell the commission about the elevator that you all would like to put in? Why, where, all that?
So this is just an example of what they look like. They're pretty straightforward, clear through. There's a possibility that we might go with a different company if push came to shove, but this is the one that we guarantee can come to our area, so we like them, and they've been very consistent with reaching out to us. If you're familiar with our campus, we have the one building that's 2 stories,
Correct.
and an aging population of our church.
Right.
Plus, we also utilize our upstairs conference room for the Alcoholics Anonymous. Many of their members are unable to climb our stairs, and so we want to provide an opportunity to get upstairs. Due to the fact that our church has vastly limited funds and limited support that we're able to get through our diocese, the idea of going into an interior elevator would be kind of overkill for us. It would also triple, if not quadruple, our cost and take up the real estate that we actually need to have our offices and our conference room. So the exterior lift, the proposition is, and I spoke with a fire marshal today. He's not the final fire marshal, but the 2 proposed locations are both in our courtyard. And so the one, I gave a picture that has a giant circle sort of right in the middle. I will tell you that my church members would prefer it not go there because it's the most visible to them. However, it's the easy, so that location, if we stop there for just a second, that one is, so right there, you're at the closest of our brick wall to the street.
Correct.
The fire marshal today said he thinks that's the best location because it would be the least visible.
Okay, my question though, does it go into the building? Would some of the building be?
No, so it would be, literally, there's like beyond the shrubs, there's a small tree-like shrub that you see standing up, the tallest thing in that picture that's green. That would come out and it would go there and it would open, so that piece of railing at the top would get opened up and it would open there. It is an entirely exterior structure.
Okay, how far, does it go out to the sidewalk?
No, it would all be within our.
Inside of the
everything would be
courtyard?
within
In the
our-
courtyard.
yes.
Okay,
So-
okay.
We would cover it with the same shutters that are like on the other side.
Okay, you see, okay, I know how the shutters are on the other side down below.
Yeah,
where
I think
that
I
used to
gave a
be a
picture.
door.
Side facing the side.
So
Okay.
that would become shutters as well? Well,
We
Okay.
can. I mean, it's really, ultimately speaking, we very much want the lift. So if that's what you all would prefer, we'll
Okay,
cover
what
whatever
we
you
would
want.
have to, even to allow something like this, and I would think for the protection of your church as a whole, you don't want to advertise that you've got one there.
No.
So if you put the shutters floor to ceiling,
Correct.
and then when it comes into the courtyard, you see where you have that lattice work?
Yeah.
That needs to also be there too. You don't want any exposure of any kind,
Correct. So
you
the
know,
entry.
floor to ceiling.
Can I go to that picture?
sure you can.
Okay. I think it'd be easier because that's what y'all are looking at.
Yes.
So to give you a sense, picture the black line is the lift, all right, for all intents and purposes. This tree goes kind of away. It opens right here at the top. This bit
Okay,
of
got it.
glasswork is what comes out because that's where people will enter it.
Right.
So we've got a brick walkway back there
Right.
behind the stairwell.
Could you put the shutters, though, from floor to ceiling on the interior as well as the exterior.
We could cover all the way around the entire box.
Yes.
The inside of here underneath where you know.
Right, the whole key is to not show
Correct.
that it is there.
Correct.
And the shuttering has been there forever, and it's acceptable within the district.
Correct. Now, can we go to the next picture for a moment?
Reverend Paul, let me ask you a question. So one would enter from
So you would
the
go,
other side?
these would be the shutters that it would look like. If you were to go through those doors, you'd be, like, if you were to go through these two doors right here, that's where the entrance would be.
Right.
So that would remain ultimately, right, those shutters?
Oh, these would remain, absolutely. Yeah,
I'd match the
absolutely.
ones on the other side just to look the same,
Yeah,
Correct.
and you wouldn't know that
Correct.
you did anything.
but they would be two-story shutters is my point.
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree, and mostly I definitely want to prevent vandals as well.
You don't want anybody to know that it's there.
Correct.
And I hate to say it, we had a business just down the street from you.
Yeah.
And for target practice on a Saturday night, they'd just go by and shoot the windows.
100%.
So you don't want that, you don't have to deal with that at all.
Danny and Kathy Seymour on their house on Poet Street did that same thing you're talking about, where they put the shutters
Yes.
on the first and second
Floor to
level
ceiling.
and closed in an area. That's what you're basically doing, and it looks fine.
It looks
Yeah.
very nice.
Okay, can we go to the picture that shows the labyrinth for a quick second?
Back one.
Yeah, if for any reason when the final inspector comes and says that that opening by the stairwell is too narrow, this is the secondary location, but the plan would still be the same.
This time, yes, you would
Yeah,
have to hide
everything
it.
else would be the same. Those are really the only two places that I think the fire marshal, when he came here today, it's like, those are the only places you really have to work with.
Okay.
So it would be one of those two places, I just need to get the final architect from the fire marshal, state fire marshal to come down.
Right,
and say,
yeah, right, that you can do that.
So, Reverend Paul, one other question. You're saying the lattice work, which is here on the west side on the
Not
far right?
lattice work, it would be shutters.
You want the whole thing to be shut? Take the left. You
Nope.
know how many people that's gonna make happy. They're gonna say, in order to do this, you gotta remove the lattice work and put in
It'll
shutters.
look
There
so
are
much
so
more,
many people who hate that
it'll look
lattice.
so much more consistent.
idea.
like
It'll be
you add an
cohesive
elevator
and
on.
it goes with the building.
You have no idea how many people, I mean, Gina just completely just did a cartwheel, because
Yeah.
Gina Pools hates that lattice work with passion, so.
Yeah.
You made at least one person's day.
Right. Commissioners, are there any other questions concerning the elevator?
No. Congratulations.
Yes, I want to take every item individually. And so, is there a motion, do I hear a motion from the commission concerning just the elevator issue that they would like to install?
Madam Chair, I offer the motion and the information presented.
I approve it.
No, you second it.
I mean, I second, I'm sorry.
It's been motioned by Wilson, seconded by Robinson, that we allow for the installation of an exterior elevator that would be covered either location, either at the end of the building or in the middle of the building, that it would be covered with two-story shutters if it's on the exterior from the front and the sides, all sides encased, and the same as for if it's in the middle with two-story shutters.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's been approved. So if you've got the funds and the fire marshal says yes, you can begin construction.
Thank you.
Which has to happen within 6 months. If it goes past that, you have to come back for a second approval.
Thank you.
Okay? So that takes care of that issue. Okay, let's go to the paint.
The doors, yes, ma'am. You want to ask anything first, or you want me to talk first?
Okay, I want you to talk first. I
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
hear everything you all have to say,
Okay,
and then things that I have found.
Okay.
And issues that we need to discuss.
excellent. So in the packet, those are the windows. In the packet that I gave you showed pictures of what the current state of our front doors is or are. It's badly cracked and damaged at this point.
It's in here, y'all, it's in your packet. It looks like this. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a copy if anyone needs it. Yeah, there you go. So we have, and I apologize, I have the letter here from Ben Stanfield, but I neglected to be able to print it out, and I'm sorry, I'm happy to read it for you. The situation is, what they've traditionally done is they keep sanding the doors and restaining them.
Right.
Which is starting to wear away at the integrity of the door, to continue to do that. And it doesn't last but about a year. Now, I have been here 2 years. These doors were done shortly before I got here. They haven't been touched since I've been here. In fact, today's my 2-year anniversary, now that I think about it. I've been here exactly 2 years. And so there's that. So 2 pieces. So the first piece is that in the Episcopal tradition, it is very typical for the doors to be painted red. It is not like mandated, we don't have to, but it's been what's been done to symbolize sanctuary and Christ's blood. Many of our members would feel very lovely to have the red doors. In doing some research and actually in talking with Dr. Cater, who talked with whom? Who's the painter?
Kyle Yoakum.
Yeah. It was that the letter that I have from Ben Stanfield, the conversation with Kyle Yoakum came from the conversation I had with Greg Duggan, is that the stain isn't going to protect the doors, that a high gloss, sun-resistant paint will last longer, hold up longer, and preserve the integrity of the doors, because the doors themselves are original. So we don't want to see anything happen to the doors. So I realized, because I'm new at this, that I didn't put in my application the name of the paint, but I gave a paint chip, so it's there somewhere.
It's Benjamin Moore.
It's Benjamin Moore,
Yes.
and it looks like it's called Heritage Red.
That is correct, thank you.
Which we won't approve anything until I actually see the actual sample.
Yep.
I don't know if you have a picture of it, or, I mean, the actual chip.
I included it on my application.
The sample
It's in here.
No, this is just a photocopy, and we
The
don't
original
go,
had it, yes, you have it.
yes. Can we see that? Okay,
But at any rate, but we
Okay,
can
is
get
that-
you another one, that's not a problem.
okay, I just need to see it, please. Show all the commissioners, Marion, if you don't mind.
It's the same thing.
It's close, but I don't do that anymore.
That's
We don't
fair.
do it anymore. We've had a couple of issues.
I don't blame you.
So we have to look at the chip.
But I welcome any questions.
Okay, are there any, okay, there again, I've done some research
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well. And what you need to understand about your church is,
It's perfect.
your church dates back on, this is on the inventory of all the properties that are in the historic district. And you can get a copy of this through our office if you would like one.
Yes, ma'am.
But the church is dated back to 1857. It's one of the oldest structures in town,
Yes, ma'am.
to be honest with you. You did say it is the original door, which is a very concerning factor.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, because it's almost 200 years old, it's pushing 180 years old at least,
Correct.
it's always been that color.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's our duty as a commission to preserve history. And you also have to understand the difference is, yes, it's the Natchitoches Historic District, but your church is also a part of the National History Landmark District, Historic
Absolutely.
Landmark District. So we are actually governed by the National Park System and the Department of the Interior.
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is something that I feel like we need to do a little bit more research on, because how old this church is, and that door has always been that color.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not refuting anything that the church wishes to do, or if there was a compromise, if there was another door within the church that could be painted red. That's not just your front door, like the 2 doors that go into the parish hall, or something like that, that we could make a compromise on. But I actually have, I've made some contact with Rebecca Blankenbecker, because she is our liaison between the National Park System and the Department of the Interior. And she has written a letter to them
Okay.
requesting some guidance on this issue, because this has not come up before us before.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to do our due diligence, to be fair to you
Absolutely.
and to us as a commission.
To preserve the doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. What we want most and foremost is not to have any further damage to the doors themselves.
Right.
That's our
I
primary.
understand that.
Yeah.
And you get due west sun, I understand that. It's
Correct.
terrible, it's horrible.
It's a thing.
So,
It's
but
Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly. So, but maybe that we could come up with a compromise once we get some information back, or figure out something that we could do.
Will one of the things that they inform you is whether or not this is in fact possible? Or like, I guess, is it an option and you're waiting for more information, or where are we on that?
Well, that's why I asked if there was another door.
Well,
Because I think well, no, I cannot speak for the commission. I would have to pull them individually. But I know what we've tried to keep everything as original as we could. And there again, your church is so significant to this district that we would hate to see it painted red over the whole, just because it's a tradition within the church. If it was mandated within the church, I think that's another whole situation.
Yeah.
But it's just, and I understand it's become a tradition.
And making sure that that painting that door is the right thing to do for that door
Once
rather
it's
than.
painted,
Because it's hard to get it
you
off, and
cannot-
that's the problem, is
it's
getting it
hard
off
to
if
go
you
back.
needed to get it off. But is
Correct.
painting the right way to best preserve the doors for the next 100 years, let's say?
Yeah.
Well-
Would you like to hear this letter?
no,
Okay.
I want to do some more research
Okay, that's
on
fair.
the door itself and also on better paints that are not available here in Natchitoches, possibly, and find out through the National Registry, Historic Registry, how we can go about this in preserving the doors.
Yes.
Since they are original.
So I will, I'll
What we
offer-
would like to do probably is table this
Okay.
till next month. Well, I need a motion, but it depends on what the commissioners would like to do. It's not mine to say. So commissioners, do
Let
you
me
all?
ask this, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Is it possible that perhaps there can be some collaboration with the commission, with you in particular being our spokesperson, and the Episcopal Church setting in looking at other doors that are perhaps this age or older that would give us some insight that are perhaps in a
Well,
historical
that's what I'm
historical
hoping to
setting?
get from
Okay.
the National Park System and the Department of the Interior. That's why I went to them.
Okay.
Because I'm hoping that they will provide me with some information on this for structures that are of this age, on how to treat this issue.
I will, I'm happy to table it. If it were mine, I'd paint all of our doors red, because that's very common. I think that we'll need, and certainly if that's what we do, that's what we do. This particular issue was also, it is the tradition dating back to the Middle Ages to do the front doors of the church, because that's where the sanctuary is. It's not, we can do the
Right.
parish hall, and I'm happy to do that. That's not the same, right? That's not where
Right.
our sanctuary is. So it was to let people know that this was a place of sanctuary. I totally understand all of the things, and I want to do our due diligence. I love being in a historic
There's also
area.
another option, I don't know if this would be agreeable, but there's actually two doors that go into your sanctuary. One is a side door.
Mm-hmm. On
What's that
Trudeau.
side street
Trudeau.
called?
Trudeau.
Trudeau. And then you have Second
I
Street.
think it would need to be all of those doors.
Well, I did,
The side doors do not get the sun.
I know it.
They're not being worn away,
But
damaged
it's,
like-
I'm not going from the standpoint of the door being so worn, but possibly, we want to preserve it, but we also want to keep the integrity of the building. And if you paint, to help
Absolutely.
you all as a compromise, to paint one door versus both doors, was my thinking. It is a sanctuary door, it may not be the front door, but it would,
That door stays
If-
locked, though, we don't ever use those.
If we
Right.
could, if
That
we,
is the columbarium bell tower.
right.
I would say, I love the idea that we're looking for more information. So from our perspective, before I would make speak on behalf of the church about what would be a compromise, can we find out what
I would much prefer that.
the people, I don't know, all the people you
Right.
named
All right,
think
then-
works?
All right, is there a commission we need to make?
I would move to table.
Well, I have a question before you do that, Steve. So I'm sitting here listening, and I'm thinking, the front door, although we're talking about options, there's a significance to painting the front door red. Is
There
that what I'm
is.
understanding?
Sanctuary.
Correct.
Yeah, there is. I understand it.
I'll read you something that I checked about history. Many see the red doors as symbolic of the shedding of Christ's blood, so that all who come to him through the church will be saved. This is medieval. And in earlier times, red doors were symbols of refuge and sanctuary for all who entered, understood that a soldier could not pursue an enemy that had passed through the red doors of a church. So over time, those red doors symbolize not just physical safety, but spiritual refuge as well. And there's also some anecdotal church was free and clear, and, you know, this made you a legitimate church. You actually have
Yeah.
done your thing.
Okay,
It
there-
took us a long time here because of the Civil War. to pay
Well, there is a motion on the floor.
Yes.
Table it not for any reason except
No,
make
we
sure that
just-
what we're
Yeah.
doing is in the best interest of those those two
Absolutely.
doors.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Whether it's stained, whether it's what door, but let them give us the best recommendation on
Absolutely.
what we have to do to save those doors.
Is it all right if I'm not the person who comes back in July? Because I'm
No.
going to be in Maryland.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
That's
great.
fine.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been, okay, who made the motion?
I made the motion to table.
Okay.
Second the motion.
Okay, Horton made the motion, Robinson made the motion to table this issue on the painting of the door.
Second.
Seconded, excuse me. Painting of the door, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we're going to table this till we get some more information. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I talked with Rebecca, she said sometimes it's a 60-day, to get all this information gathered.
I get it.
But it's not something that has to be done tomorrow.
Correct.
So we're going to continue to work on this.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, now, the next order of business is concerning the wanting to move the house that's located on.
Two Line.
Correct address, on Two Line. I don't remember the address.
148.
Okay, 148 Two Line. And in your packet, there is a really good photograph, there it is, up there, of the house. This used to be the old Harrington Law Firm. A lot of y'all will remember it as that. It is now used as a church office, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, correct. Okay, please tell us what you all would like to do with this house and why.
So there's two objectives that fold into each other. The one is that we want to move our church offices back onto the main campus. We have a lot of people that come seeking the priest that are walking onto the campus and knocking on the door of our preschool, which we consider to be a safety issue. They're looking for me, and despite our signage, they're not real clear that we're around the corner and in this other house. So the consensus is the church offices used to be on the main campus. We'd like to move back to the main campus. We would like to move the preschool into a separate structure. It would enable them to be entirely enclosed and not a part of the church business and not have that same issue of people kind of trying to walk in on them. The challenge with this house is that it is woefully below code for children. It's structurally not in bad shape for a house, but it does not have the correct timber or the correct sheetrock to meet the requirements of the fire marshal to be a preschool or a daycare. It also does not have the appropriate fire suppression system. So the house itself without the land is worth approximately 100 to 120 grand depending on the market. And to bring it up to code and would cost us in the ballpark of $400,000 to $450,000, for which we could build an entirely new structure and have it be entirely structurally sound. The goal would be to do that and to make it look exactly like this, only structurally sound. So we don't want to build something that doesn't look the same. We don't have some funky idea in our mind. And we don't want to part with the land because we need the land for the future site of the preschool. But we would like permission to be able to sell this to someone who'd be willing to relocate it. We have had some interest, but it's been like, I don't even know if I can sell it, has been my answer. So that's where we are.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions for this at this point? Okay.
Gosh, there's a lot.
Okay. There are several things. First of all, this is a contributing factor, structure.
Yes, ma'am.
Within the district. According to our inventory, it was built in 1914.
1914,
Possibly
okay.
1914 and 1920-ish, right into
Okay.
there. And it is also in line with the other houses that are along that area, right there where
Brad Ferguson.
it used to be not only Brad's, but State Farm. Murphy.
Oh, yeah. Across
His
the
house,
street.
very similar to that. And to move a house out of a district like that, it was built that way for a certain reason at that time period and
Sure.
put there for a reason. And we understand as a commission the importance that you all do is for childcare in Natchitoches. My kids went there too. I think everybody in this town went there, and we appreciate everything the church is doing.
Thank you.
Now, based on that, plus, this is totally unprecedented.
I
We had
understand.
never had a request to move a house out of the district.
I'm a very strange priest.
And, and I have to revert back to the fact that not only you're just not a historic district, it is a National Historic Landmark District.
Absolutely.
And whatever we decide here is setting a precedent for what can happen down the road.
Absolutely.
So this is not a quick thing to fix.
Absolutely.
And the problem is, when you start chipping away at a historic district, eventually we lose the integrity
Absolutely.
of the district. And there are only 2 national landmark districts in Louisiana.
Right.
French Quarter is one, and we are the other. So we are very proud to have that here.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be strong protectors to keep it that way. So, I lost my train of thought.
Well, while you're thinking, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I know what it was. Go ahead.
Did you get more than one quote? Because $460,000 to bring a historic house that's probably built with better materials and on a better foundation than anything you could probably rebuild there. I mean, did you get more than one quote? It just seems
We did.
like-
We talked to a few people. So, I mean, it's one of those, I can't remember what y'all call it, but it's not on a foundation, right? It's thank you. So it's on
It's
that.
pier and
That
beam.
is,
Piers and beams.
the
Pier
issue
and
is, if you wanted to live in it, it's solidly constructed. It's that at the time it was constructed, they didn't have sheetrock that would be rated at 1 hour. And so it requires by fire marshal that it's signed off on 1 hour sheetrock, which means we'd have to end 1 hour timber. And none of those were the case. So I'd effectively had to strip it down to the studs, put in 1 hour timber and put in 1 hour sheetrock. The sheetrock is at about $28 a sheet right now. And we need a couple hundred sheets of sheetrock. And then the fire suppression system is an $80,000 to $100,000 investment unto itself.
Well, you know, we're also looking at the fact, too, that we had an issue come up with the Methodist Church. And I don't know how familiar you are with where their office
I
is
do,
now.
yes.
You know, they wanted to tear that house down and put it in a parking lot.
Oh,
And
we don't wanna do that.
we told them no for years and years and years. And they finally went back and they refurbished it, and it's a beautiful home. It's been saved, and it dates back to, it's older than yours. It's like 1899, something like that.
Ethel
It's
Robo.
Ethel Robo's
just
old
our side
house.
of the Methodist
Across the
Church.
street from me.
Across the
Yeah.
street from Steve.
Just this
So
side of the
all those
Methodist church.
houses are so significant into there, and you just cannot build that back, even if it looks just like it. You don't have the dents in the columns, you don't have the covered
Right.
paint, you don't have the architectural details as they were. But regardless of any of that, this is another matter. I have sent letters to the national parks, and there is a Louisiana office for preservation
Okay.
in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. And I've actually sent letters to both of those, requesting not only about the door, but also about moving a structure out of a national landmark district. Because like I said, this has never come before the commission before. And this especially, we have to do due diligence, because
Yes,
it
ma'am.
does set a precedent into the future.
That's great that you did that.
Here's, yes, and question, and I realize that this might make a long shot even longer, but if we found a buyer who wanted to move it within the district, would that make a difference?
I don't know, I have to,
Okay.
I can't say that because I don't know that.
Okay.
I will have to wait and see.
It would depend on where they wanted to move it in the district as well, because see, where it sits right now, it's in the contributing part of the historic district.
Well,
I
not
see.
only that, like I kind of prefaced it to the very beginning, it was put in that place at that time for that reason. And it's built the way it looks for that reason. If you take it up and you move it, you can lose the significance of that house, because you're going to set it down in another part, possibly in the district that was built 20 years later.
I see what you're saying.
And it does not have the significance anymore. Therefore, you've devalued that house as well as the district as a whole.
I see.
So that's our concerns, and that's my major concern.
Yep.
And from what you said in your letters and all, that it was like $4 to $450 to fix it, but you could build one for $4 to $425, something like that.
Right.
So you're right in the same ballpark, you know. So I'm not going to say anything until we get some guidance
Absolutely.
from
That
these
makes sense.
two, the Department of the Interior and the state office.
Absolutely.
To know better, to inform us as a commission what we need to do.
Absolutely.
So I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there another area in the property that you could build this house that you want for?
That was a question I had. You know where that little park, where y'all park cars for the Christmas festival and all?
Right.
Is that an option to put a building there?
It is and it isn't. I think that the challenge for us would be that we'd still be sitting on a building that needs renovation and coming up with the funds for both, because the building that we're in is going to need something. It can't stay the way that it is.
Well, but if you moved your offices into your current parish
Correct.
complex, you could sell that house to someone to live in that house.
We could. I don't think our diocese will approve that. Ultimately speaking, all of our property is held in trust by the diocese, and I don't think that they would approve, based on my conversations with them, of us releasing property that is in this area. The other issue for us being, honestly, with the kind of the size and age of our members, we need as much opportunities for fundraising as we can. If we build in our only parking lot, I think that we cut into $7,000 to $10,000 of income for us each year.
Is there any
So
kind
let
of,
me ask this question. So aren't you going to sell it anyway, though? They're going to approve? that-
They're okay with selling the structure, it's the land that the diocese wouldn't approve of us parting with.
So they're going to approve that you sell the house. So if you sell the house, whether they move it or leave it there, you're still selling the house.
no,
But we'd
no, no,
lose
no.
the land.
No, no, no.
So that's what I'm asking. So if there's another area on the church property where you can build a house and then just keep using this as your.
No,
office.
so the only area that we have, because of being in the downtown area, would be the adjacent lot. And so if we continue to own this house, it would still need renovation, less so if it wasn't a preschool, but it would still need renovation. To do that and build is probably not cost allowed for us. If we were to build on the open lot and sell this house, it would end up, and leave it where it is, we would effectively be also selling the lot that it's sitting on, and that's the part that our diocese won't approve. They don't want to lose the land.
Well, but then, on the other hand, we don't want to lose the house. And
Agreed.
we don't want to move it to a different part of the district, so.
Is,
that's where we're
are
gonna
there
end up.
any grants available for childcare?
So the grants
maybe-
that I have looked into which was part of the appeal to this plan, are for constructing, not for renovating.
That seems crazy.
So that's kind of the challenge. If you want to say, I want to build a new building and create a school, they're like, here's some money for you. If you're like, I have this 110-year-old building that I'd like to renovate, they're like, we don't know what you're talking about, go away. So I can't say no, because I can't say I have done an exhaustive search.
Right.
But based on where I have looked at this point, no.
I was just trying to think of the ways we could,
Correct.
get you money to help you find the money that you might need.
And honestly, if we can, that's fine. I mean, I don't object to that.
Yeah.
That would be the issue.
So, another question. So you're saying that it will cost you about $425,000 to build a new structure, but to renovate this one, it would be about $450,000 to $460,000?
No, it's about, ultimately speaking, I would say it's a $400 to $450 either way, I would
Either
say.
way, either
Yes.
way.
So then, in order to save the house, then why not renovate it? And then if you can, get maybe grants for some of the funds, since you already have some of the funds to build, if you could get additional funds, just to be sure you make it into a proper,
So we
daycare.
don't have the funds to build today, but there are funds available to build, and we wouldn't be building, we would be renovating. So the places we could go to build wouldn't approve to do the reno, is what I'm saying. So I'd have to find someone
So
who
you
would
don't
approve to
have
do
the
the reno.
money.
Right,
The major
right, yeah.
thought process is twofold on the decision to do it differently, is that I love history, so if this comes out sounding funky, understand that I do love the history of everything. But at the end of the day, if we put $400,000, I'm still putting $400,000 into a 110-year-old house that's going to have 110-year-old problems, as opposed to having something that's on a slab, that's going to be better energy conserved, that's just going to have the features that will make operating the house better and safer. So the idea of putting $450,000 into a 110-year-old house is less appealing than saying we could build something that would be more structurally sound. Because all we're going to end up with is a structure that has checked the boxes to pass the state fire marshal. It's not going to necessarily be.
But I'll give you something to think about. Back in 1965, St. Mary's was going through the same problem a block up the street. And they said we would be better building a new structure, and they tore down one of the most significant structures in the northern part of the state, in St. Mary's, and the Catholic Church, which I remember, regrets that to this day, letting go of that significant property on the hill, because honestly, First Baptist has done a great job with it, but it's the land is structurally unsound because it had a gym in the basement.
Sure.
And that's what they did, was they just threw everything in the basement and covered it up. But if you look at what they tore down up there, that was beautiful, and they regret it to this day that they didn't put the money into restoring the buildings, because they lost those two up on the hill, and they lost the one over on 3rd Street, where the police jury parking lot is. So they tore down 3 very significant properties, but that was in the 60s when no one realized
What they had.
And
Yeah,
I
and I
think
would-
you've got a similar situation here of a house that is, in today's world, significant. We know that, but making a decision to put something new in its place, 40 years, 50 years down the road, we may say, God, I can't believe we let that happen.
I know down the street from you, there's 3 apartments that are being renovated right now. And there was actually tax credits that were used
Okay.
and that's something, well, churches don't pay taxes. But anyway, they're renovating, but there are grants available to help with this. And there are things like you can't change architectural detailing and stuff like that.
Sure.
But to help you with the interior, and that's what he got into. He can't change anything exterior, but interior, he can gut the place.
Right.
You know, and so there are grants out there for stuff like that. You know, even the Main Street grant was available, and there's going to be another one coming up too.
Great.
You have to ask her what that, I can't remember what that one's called. So I think there are some things out there that could be available, but we need to investigate this. We
Okay.
need more information from
Great.
both of these national and state sources, because like I said, whatever we do here does set a precedent.
And I appreciate
And
you
it-
looking
it's
into
too
that.
important. you know.
I do not disagree, and we want people to be okay with whatever the decision is. So I appreciate you doing that work, and what comes out of it, and then we move forward from there. But we can't know without knowing, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Okay.
So I appreciate you considering it.
Okay, then, Commissioners, let's make a motion then to table this, just like we did with the door.
I'll be glad to make the motion to
Second.
table this part of the application for the same reason, just for
Excellent.
investigative purposes.
Okay, it's been
Second.
moved by Horton, seconded by Wilson, that we table the application concerning the removal of the house on Tulane Street until our next meeting, until I get some more information from these 2 agencies.
Wonderful, thank you so much. I will say before I go, I really respect the work that y'all are doing. I did know about all of the 2-city situation and so forth. If we get this grant, it's going to be because of the work y'all do to keep us historic. There are so many boxes you can check to qualify you for this grant, and we were able to check every one of those boxes because we do fall into one of those districts. So I really appreciate it.
Well,
I know
that's
y'all
great.
get probably a hard time because you don't always give people the answers they want to hear.
No,
But I
unfortunately.
appreciate that you guys are doing the hard work and keeping us where we need to be. So,
And just
thank you.
FYI, when you take those windows out to be repaired and everything, it's understood wood goes up there until it's all.
Say that one more time?
It's understood that when you take the windows out, that wood is
Oh.
replaced in there. It's no big deal.
Thank you. I
You know, but
appreciate
you
that.
do need to come back when you're all ready to do that.
Absolutely. Pray for us that we get this grant. 'cause
Yeah,
we
oh, I will. Are
need
you
it.
kidding? Anything
We
helps our
need it.
district, yes.
All right. Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
You have a blessed
Okay,
evening.
thank you.
Take care of you as
All
well.
right. Commissioners, is there any other business that you know of that needs to come before the commission? Announcements. Let me find my little deal right here. I do have one announcement that is not in here. While I was meeting with Rebecca Blankenbecker about these other issues, we have had now 4, I think, people now want to put murals up. And so Rebecca and I sat and visited for a long time, and there again, we're under all of these, national restrictions and all. And so we're trying to work on that some more. It would be more detailed than what I sent to y'all. I don't know if y'all read it or not. But one thing that I do want your opinion on that was brought up in our discussion was the fact that if we do this and we don't want advertising, we want more of historical nature in our murals. If someone did want to advertise, that maybe 85% of the mural is of the architectural or the artwork, and only 15% is like down at the bottom or where you can put your advertisement. Like for Dr. Green, if he wanted to put his pelican up there, which is his symbol, it would be, 85% of the mural, but just 15% can he only put green orthodontics, rather than a big old green orthodontics and a big old eye. I need to know some feedback from y'all, what you see needs to go into this.
Well, who else wants to do murals?
Taylor down here on St. Denis, they want to paint one of those walls where they had that food truck in there.
The opposite of that, I think it's Magnolia, Mystical Magnolia.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Citibank, Dr. Green, and then who's the gentleman that owns the venue?
Ron Bolton
Ron Bolton. That's what I understand.
He wants to put it on the opposite side
of Dr. Green,
Of Dr. Green.
which would be the north side of Tulane.
So all of a sudden now, everybody wants to put murals up. Now, you can always say, no, we're not going to allow murals, period.
Because they're gonna start going up. I mean, once you get those 4 up, everybody's gonna wanna do a mural. And
Well, you
so-
cannot paint a mural on a wall of existed paint that's not painted yet. So any structure that is brick that's exposed, no mural can go there. But any building that's already been painted, you can allow a mural.
So when they do the mural, would we approve what's painted there? Because,
Yes.
some of them can be kind of,
Well, you can, like, not only can you control the amount of space that can be given the mural, but you can say no advertising at all, it just has to be an art. You can say,
well, what kind of art?
exactly. We had talked about possibly doing, it has to be historical to Natchitoches, like the Bank of Montgomery, who put their mural up without asking when they built that building. Their mural is of historical significance. It is actually of their original building.
In Montgomery.
That was in Montgomery. But it has the horse and buggy and carriage. It's very muted in color. It's not an in-your-face with bright colors. We can control all of that if that's something the commission wants to see our downtown to become. So that's the thing. I want y'all to think about that. Just type me, email me with questions or whatever. But I think the first thing is this a Pandora box we want to open? Or do we just say, no murals, that's the way it is in the town,
Downtown Shreveport has some really neat murals, but then they have bigger buildings, so it's not as congested as we are here.
Right, but what significance do they have? And also, who's going to keep up with these murals? And that was one thing I asked Rebecca. I said, okay, Rebecca, if it's a business that puts up a mural, they go out of business, they're bankrupt, who is going to take care of that mural? And I said, especially if their name is on there. Well, her response was, well, if the artwork is there, all we have to do, the HDDC could come back and just paint over the name,
business.
let's say orthodontics or whatever, but you still have a mural there. What's going to happen to that mural 5 years from then?
Or
Who's going to
20 years, it
yeah,
starts to peel or-
appeal and whatever, and you have all of that to contend with. And so, I'm getting calls constantly. I even got calls from the artist who is very upset with us and says we should do it yesterday, and because he needs work. And I said, well, I wanted to say, go find work somewhere else until we make our decisions. But this is not something we're going to hurry on, but it's something that we seriously have to address.
Because it'll set a precedent for
Right.
everybody. We won't be able to turn anybody down. We'll have to let them paint some kind of mural somewhere on their building.
So I would like for each one of you to email me your thoughts on this. and then we can take it up.
Let me ask you this, Madam Chair. The mural that used to be many years ago on the McClung building, where was the pharmacy, which is Halltree, I think now? What percentage would you say that mural was?
Oh.
Was that 100%, 95%
It was
of
the
advertising
whole-
McClung?
Wasn't it
Okay,
the
I
whole-
remember
it
it
was
as
the
a
whole
child.
thing? And also, if you even go further back, I found another picture that has not only that, but there were like murals or advertising all over the front, on almost every surface that you
true.
can find.
I recall. Yes,
So if
ma'am.
you look at mamas and papas, you know, they could come say, well, all my stuff is painted. I want to put a mural up there on the front street, on each one of those 3 buildings. And then you got the hall tree on the corner, so that whole area could end up being painted. You have to think about
The
all of that.
McClung building was packed with
Oh,
painting.
it was everywhere.
I recall
Yeah.
as a child,
It was,
the
I
pharmacy.
mean, it's a good picture, but it was at the turn of the century,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of advertising.
And also back then, you got to remember, they didn't have billboards. They didn't
That
have
was
what
the
we
way of
have. They didn't have the
advertising, yeah.
technology and the social media that everybody looks at. You don't need all of that.
Right.
You know, and how historical is that? Or do we want that back, you know?
I want to ask you, Mary, when you get all of your information back,
Well, I'll share it with you,
well,
sure.
No, I know, I want you to share with us, but I'd like us to have a meeting about it before we bring it before the audience to present to them. I'd like us to discuss it.
Okay,
Instead of
the-
discussing it in front of
The
them.
way that works is because of the sunshine laws, we can have a discussion like we're having here today because this is a called meeting. Now, I can meet with 2 or less members
And not have a
at
quorum.
a time, so there's no quorum. But as a whole, when there's more than that, we have to meet like
We'll
this.
call a meeting then.
You have to advertise it too, right? You have to advertise it, that way it's open to the public, they just can't give their
Contribute.
ideas at the time, because you guys are just
Well,
discussing.
no, what I'm asking is, I'm not asking us to discuss it in order to make a decision. I'm asking us to discuss the information.
We need a work
It's the
session.
same
Well,
thing.
a work session
Yeah.
is what I'm asking, a work
But those are
session.
still open.
They're open, yeah.
If there's a
Well-
quorum, they're open to the public.
Well, I know, we've had work sessions when Sharon was chairperson, and it wasn't open.
How many were there?
Did
The
you have a
open
full
meetings
quorum?
laws changed
Yeah.
drastically in the last 10 years.
That's the legislative
But
session.
even with the Louisiana school, if they do work
Just
session, everything
email
has to be open. It's called government under sunshine.
Did we adjourn?
Do we adjourn?
We have not adjourned, because we're still meeting right here, but if you need to go,
Because we're gonna lose the
go.
quorum, so we need to move to it.
So-
No, we still have a quorum right
So
now.
when you get, I am asking that you and I meet.
Sure.
When you get the information back, because I'd like to discuss what you get back on the door. I'd like to discuss what you get back
Sure.
on moving that house before we.
I have
discuss
every
it.
intention of meeting with everybody. Before, when I get anything back on anything, I will meet with you individually or with 2 of you together, and then we can share whatever, and then we can have an open meeting and come to decisions. But these are 3 major decisions
I'm just
that are
interested
coming.
to see what you get back and what they
Yeah.
say.
And Rebecca said it may be 60 days, easy, before we get any answers
About the murals.
about the murals, the door, and moving of the structure. But it is in progress. I wanted to bring you all up to date on all of that. So our next meeting will be Monday, July the 6th. 4th of July will be over, so hope everybody will be here. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, okay. Robinson, Horton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming. I will be in